Shadow work can look really complicated, but most people make it way too hard, and in this video I'll be explaining the hidden secret that you need to know to make shadow work easy. Hi there, this is Thomas from Amstermind here, and I'll be talking about how to do shadow work and the simple secret to making it easy. But before I do that, let's talk about what the shadow is, and then transition into how to do shadow work. So the shadow is basically a concept from famous psychologist Carl Jung, and it says that we have a persona and a shadow. And the shadow are actually all the parts of ourselves that we reject and store away in our shadow, in our unconscious. And the shadow contains a lot of repressed emotions, painful experiences, disempowering beliefs, and the more dark aspects of the self. So the goal of shadow work is then to integrate your shadow, these repressed shadow parts, into your overall consciousness so that you become whole again. You become one again. They're not hidden in the dark, they are brought out into the light, and your hidden devils are integrated in a healthy way. So the only way that I have personally found that makes shadow work effective is to start building a healthy relationship with your shadow. If you hate it, if you fear it, if you don't like it, then it will never work. You have to build a positive, healthy relationship with your shadow. That's key. And the best way to do this is by applying the fear and love paradigm. And the way I see it, a shadow and shadow parts are always motivated by fear. Whatever they do, that's what they're motivated by. Their life force is fear. That's how they are born, that's how they actually stay alive in your unconscious. And these fears can, have like a basis in many things, but often it's a fear of not being enough, fear of not being loved, fear of, certain emotions that we don't want to feel. They're hard, they're complex, they're dark, we don't want them, and that's why we store them away because of fear. And then the shadow part actually makes us scared, makes us afraid. So how you combat that? How do you break the vicious cycle of fear? Because it's born out of fear, and we fear it, and then it becomes worse, right? And the only way to do this is by sending it love. If you send it love, then you can transmute the fear into something more positive and integrate it in a healthy way. So I have two techniques for you right now that you can apply in your daily life to implement the fear and love paradigm to make shadow work more easy and more practical. So the first technique that I want to teach you is what I call the I love you technique. And it goes a little bit like this. Pay attention to yourself, your thoughts and your emotions, your inner world in certain situations during daily life. Let's say at work, or when you're with your partner, or with certain friends. And then maybe a certain situation comes up. Maybe that person says something, maybe something happens in the environment, or just something happens and you feel unusually triggered by it. You feel that you judge yourself, you feel disempowering emotions, negative emotions, you feel not enough, not loved. Try and notice those moments. Sometimes they even go by unnoticed and we just act out these negative emotions. But what I'm asking now from you is to pay attention to them. Be aware. When you notice them, these dark thoughts, disempowering thoughts, negative emotions, see that as a cue that there might be a part of yourself that is afraid. That simply is afraid that it will not receive love, that it's not enough. And then at that moment, consciously send it your love. You can say in your mind, that's what I often do, just very silently say like, I love you. That's enough. If you say that, to that part, and then the crucial part is to also feel love. So feel love and then send it to that part of yourself. Acknowledge that it has been heard now and that you can now move on with your day. But you're no longer acting out that fear, you've sent it love, and by doing this you transmute the fear into something more positive, which is love. So that's the first technique. And the second technique that I want to teach you in this video is called open speak journaling. And open speak journaling is the best exercise for doing shadow work, by far. It's pretty intense if you start with this, but very worth it. So basically, open speak journaling is not journaling in the traditional sense. It's not at the end of the day try and write all the good things about your day and all the positive things that have happened and all the happy things you look for, and dabble a little bit in your emotional life and your questions about things. No, it's actually giving a very concrete voice to the shadow, to those dark aspects of the self. Repressed emotions, very negative thoughts, darkness, pain. Pain is a good word, I would say. So to do open speak journaling, here is the process that I recommend. It has 5 steps, and the first step is to first take out a note app like Evernote, maybe a word processor, Word, or if you like, you can also write down on paper, of course. And then the second step is to then write down a list of subjects that you have shadows around, that you believe that contain shadow aspects of yourself that you need to integrate. Write down that list, then open another document, and here you note down one of the subjects that you want to write about. So you pick one, and then you just start noting down, you just start writing from a place of the shadow, from the darkness that you maybe have been repressing your whole life. All that pain, all that sadness, all that anger, let it all out. This is no place to have a filter, no social filter, because that's actually another important reason why we repress these emotions, because they're socially maybe not that accepted. So write without social filter. Write down all these dark thoughts. Feel not enough. Feel like a victim. Judge other people. Feel the pain. Hate on things. Be frustrated. Really go into that darkness. Into your own sorrow, sadness, anger, whatever comes up. Write it all down, let it all out. And if you feel emotions, if you need to cry, you can cry. If you feel anger, you can also get angry. Keep on noting, and then at some point you'll feel that you're done. You've given a voice to this part of yourself. And one very important thing to realize is that you're still a good person. Even though you might have written the darkest things in there, you're still a good person. These things that you've written down are not necessarily true. They are maybe just true for a certain part of yourself, your shadow, that is based on fear. So you're still a good person. That's a good thing to take into account. And then the next step is to take a moment to send love to this part of yourself that you've just expressed. I usually say something like, in the name of the universe and my higher self and unconditional love, I now send my love to this part that I've just expressed. And again, feel that love. Maybe you can even visualize your shadow merging with love. Make it overflow and be there for that part of yourself that you might have been repressing your whole life and that is now out in the open. So after you're done with that, then the final step is to delete the entry that you've just made. You delete it from your computer, from your phone, or throw away the paper if you've written while doing the open speak journaling. Because you brought it out in the open, you've sent it your love, and now it's time to let it go again. To let it go, the energy has moved through you, and now you can set it free. Now you've integrated it, or at least you've integrated a little bit more, and now you can release it to the universe. So throw away that paper, delete that entry, and yeah, then go on with your day. And this exercise is really powerful. When I started implementing this in my life, I was kind of shocked and surprised on how much darkness and pain and sadness and anger actually came up, and that often if I struggle with things in my mind and I feel out of balance, then when I do this exercise, it makes perfect sense why that's the case. There is a shadow part that is activated, that is triggered, and I am trying to keep it down, I'm trying to repress it, I don't want to see it. And yeah, if I then bring it out in the open, send it love, and then release it, bam, I can flow again with life. And I hope that will be your experience too. It's a very freeing feeling, freeing experience. So those were the two techniques that I wanted to teach you in this video. If you have any questions about how to do shadow work, the techniques that I've discussed, or the fear and love paradigm, feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. I'll answer them personally for you. And yeah, if you want more videos like this, if you enjoyed it, if you got value from it, then make sure to hit subscribe, and yeah, you'll get our future videos and see them. So see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.